4 months, 5 months to get through. So, um, okay. Okay. Did you catch that, Chandra? The sound is doing something. I hear like a tinging sound. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. How's your mic?
Testing 1 2 1 2 3. Is that any better or
Test, test.
a little bit?
Okay, I'll try to speak up so that you can hear me there, and Chandra can pick up the sound through the microphones. Okay. All right. Well, it's great to see so many people. I bet council wish they had this level of participation.
Shh, we have a council person at the end of the table. Brian.
Oh, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it's 7:04. I think this looks like a full house. So we'll get started. We'd like to do some round of introductions. We'll briefly cover the construction aspect of the work, the timeline. Then we'll get into program and impact, which I think is the what folks really care about speaking about tonight, which is how is it going to affect you and what we're doing to accommodate everyone. So I'd like to start off with the introduction, starting with our council member Jenny Pompey. Do you want to kick this off?
Is this working? I don't think my mic.
It's on now. Oh.
Hello? Hello?
Oh.
Well, I'll just say my name is Jenny Pompey. I'm one of your council members. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. The other council members all care deeply about this project, but, Councilman Niesel's here too, but they just all had previous engagements. As you know, we meet very regularly, so Thursday nights are often nights where. So I'm glad to be here on their behalf, and I know they would be thrilled to see how many.
Josue Salmeron, City Manager, welcome.
Greg Varda, Recreation Director.
Andrew Phelan, Assistant Director of Recreation Facilities and Operations.
Amy Niesel, Council Member.
Steve Parks. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We have scheduled up to 2 hours for the conversation, but if we need to go a little longer, Greg doesn't think so. But Greg, I've been trained. I've been trained with these 3-hour meetings, so we can go. But I think we'll cover the construction. So Brian, do you want to briefly cover the work we're looking to do on the construction, just a general scope, the 5 items of the work, and then the timeline, and then we'll get into the program side of things.
As I've stated in previous meetings, essentially. That work also includes that work. That work also includes some MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, as well as retiling and waterproofing. Essentially, the contract duration is approximately 120 days with an 84-day construction program. The area is about 3,000 square feet.
And I'll add to the construction schedule. We're looking to get started in April.
Correct.
And with the 120 days, you do math, you're looking at 4 months. But we are adding some contingency in that schedule, in that construction schedule, and some flexibility at the end. So from a timeline perspective, we're looking to be completely done with the construction side of things September 30th.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. You want to get into?
Yeah, sure. So on the front table out there, we have this little paper for you with some questions, a little Q&A for you, and we know there'll probably be more questions than this. We'll also have a project page on the city website. We'll update that accordingly, and there will be an email address on there where you can email questions in, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can once we get those. We know how important the pool is to the community, many different users, and our task is going to be trying to put a program together for the summertime so we can hopefully have something for everyone. It's probably not going to be possible that you get the full use of the indoor-outdoor pool when we're operating, when both pools are operating together, but we hope to put together a program so each stakeholder, each user can have an opportunity to do what they like to do best. I'm going to turn it over to Andrew, and he can talk about the operating hours, and then we'll go to Stephen, and he can talk about how we're going to manage the pass situation, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, so we're looking to open the outdoor pool earlier than traditional hours. Specific time is still to be determined. And in addition, we will be keeping the outdoor pool open till 8:30 p.m. So that's a 30-minute extension on the normal time. Fitness wing hours will not be impacted at all. And again, our precise hours will be posted probably within a week, we're hoping. Greg, is that accurate?
Within the next week or two, we should have all of everything worked out and on the project page. Yeah. I know there was a question of whether we can put some lights in the pool and stay open longer in the evening. It's something we're still looking into. It's not looking hopeful, but we're gonna make sure we can't do it before we say no. We need to get some health department, some questions answered from the health department, and make sure they're on board with what we want to do. We can't give you a precise opening of the outdoor pool. It's contingent upon health department approval, and we don't have that inspection date yet, though we've reached out to them. We don't anticipate a problem, but I don't want to promise something I can't deliver. But as soon as we know that, we'll get that posted as well.
And that could be as early as May 5th. But again, it's all health department pending at this point. And I should add that the 8:30 closure time won't begin until Memorial Day weekend. And that time is essentially average dusk time for us that we feel comfortable operating without additional lights.
Stephen, do you want to come up and talk a little bit about past management and dailies and everything else? Or can you talk from there?
Yeah, this is working. Is it working?
So why don't you stand?
Well, it says it's on.
You can stand up.
Just work the crowd.
Oh, you're good. Can you hear me now? So with the past situation, I should just go in overall. Prices will remain the same as we do throughout the year. Normally during the summer, because we're operating two pools, there's an increase in daily admissions. We're going to keep those the same the entire summer so that there's no fluctuation in that. Passes, we're looking at trying to determine, how do you say, an equitable resolution for us and for you guys. You won't lose any time. There's going to be a period of time when we're actually closed and there's no pool. So we'll figure out what that is going to be and make adjustments accordingly. But overall, we're going to allow you guys to chime in and say, if you're a pool person only, let us know. And we're working on a remedy where we can pause a membership, and then once everything is all said and done, start your membership back up, and then add, if we have to add that remaining time, if the system does it that way, or if we have to manually go in, we'll adjust the time when we reopen full bore. So you won't lose any time. We'll lose time because we have to put all that information in. During the summer, it's like our busiest time. And a lot of people come in. So if a lot of people pause their memberships, 300 to 500 people, you know, in the system, we have at least 300 passes, year-round passes. And during the summer, we have passes that we sell just for the summer itself. So those will be on sale because we have people that just want to come during the summer, and it's more economical for you guys and easier for us if we sell you a pass and you do daily admission, especially if you're a non-resident. So that's how we're going to work passes. In regards to summer restrictions, nothing will go in effect till Memorial Day weekend as usual. With the weekends and holidays are pass holders and residents. With one pool, I see a lot of faces in here that come in on the weekends, and it can get kind of crazy. And I see a lot of people that come in during the week when we actually get to capacity with 2 pools. So if you can imagine a holiday summer weekend, yeah, wanting to come in and it's packed and I got to turn you away, I'll just give you Andrew and Greg's number. So.
What time will the pool open in the morning?
Right now, we're working on that. It's going to depend on how we schedule our programs and other activities going on. Ideally, when the building opens, the pool will open. But it may vary depending on what we have going on at any given
You
time.
have every intent to open it earlier than the schedule. Sorry. Yeah, and just to add what Steven said, all credits during the closure will be more in the form of extending expiration dates on passes rather than monetary credits. That being said, if you're just really upset and you want to cancel your pass altogether, we will be happy to issue a prorated refund based on, you know, how much of that pass you have used to date.
Right, and if you're an indoor pool swimmer and you're not sure you want to swim in the outdoor pool, we're going to give you 30 days to make that decision. So you can try the outdoor pool. If you don't like it, you can come in and pause your pass or get a refund, up to you. You missing anything?
Sure we are, but I'm sure there's lots of questions out there. Perhaps we...
Let's talk about our personnel.
So there was a really good article in the News Review today. I hope most of you read it about the pool closure. We had a brief work session, or a brief council update last week. There was one thing I'd like to clarify, though, is the article said we will not be hiring summer lifeguards, and that's not true. We will be hiring, or we will try to hire summer lifeguards. Hopefully we get some new ones. One of the things we need to be sure of is when the indoor pool opens, we want to make sure we have enough staff to, you know, if it should open earlier and we can open the indoor pool and the outdoor pool together, we'll do that. And we want to make sure we have enough staff on hand so we can do that. So we'll keep them busy somehow, but we will be hiring lifeguards this summer and retaining our current lifeguards. So that will be important to us.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're always looking for lifeguards.
So yes.
Well, we started putting together the FAQ. We want you to get the most out of this meeting, so we can go through these questions, or if you have your own questions, we're happy to address the concerns, questions you may have.
Hi, my name is Christine Nickel. I am
Welcome, Christine.
the treasurer of GMST, the swim team. Start by asking every swim person here representing the swim team to please stand.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilmember.
This is
All right,
great.
so first of all, I'd like to thank the city council and the city management for, you want me to use the microphone? Sure, I'll talk.
Is this going live on TV right now? She's just
Let's
taping
come over
it.
here, yeah, sure. Everybody
Okay.
knows me. First of all, I am a pass holder. I am about a 10-year resident of Greenbelt. I am the mother of 2, soon to be 3 of our swim coaches, and 4 members of the swim team. My husband is the referee for the team. We are involved. I'll just put it that way. As I said, I am a board member and the treasurer. I am the HR department. So we are very concerned with how the usage of the pool is going to relate to us. I would like to thank you guys. This is probably fine. I would like to, good. I'd like to thank you guys for working with us. I've already met with several members of this committee right here. And, but I want to make sure that all of our members know what has been said as well. Okay, so as you guys know, the relationship with this team and the pool has kind of been rocky over the years, but for the last few years, it has been solid. I work closely with Stephen Parks to make sure that both our lanes are rented, that we get our access, and that our swim team coaches are paid during the summer, because we are very grateful to the city council for providing a grant that pays for the coaches in the summer. What this enables us to do is to keep the costs very low. There's not another team in the area that has the cost that we are able to reach, which means our diversity is wide. We have economic and socioeconomic diversity in addition to a whole other large, we've had kids swim in hijabs, we've had trans children swimming, you name it, we've hit it. And that is one of our key features. And the reason we're able to do this so well is thanks to the city council grant over the summer. So I would like to start by thanking you. Also, I work closely with Stephen Parks to get all this done. I would like to thank him for keeping us updated as the process has gone along with Greg Varda and the rest of his team. So we just want to make sure that as you're moving forward, that you're considerate of this swim team's impact on the pool. You're talking about 130 kids every morning coming into that pool. That's a lot in the mornings. We knew this was coming along, so we knew this was going to happen. Last summer, we were thankfully informed. I really appreciate the communication. Someone said we might lose access in the morning, so we started looking. Your indoor lanes were fairly empty during the time that we are there. So it doesn't mean we're not willing to give up anything. It's just, you maybe had 1 or 2 people. This is something you should be able to check. You should be able to look at your swipes and see who was coming. So we just hope that as you move forward, you consider these 130 children, this team that's been here. How long, Mark, have we been here? 70-ish? Yes, since 1957, we have been in this city, and everyone knows us. So we try to attend and recruit from all portions of the city. We attend the Green Man Festival. I've done stuff at Shroom Hills. I've gone to Fall Fest. So we really want to include all the residents, not just those that are here. And one of our major advantages is that a lot of our kids, they come, they swim, they walk to city camps. So that is huge. So just as you're moving forward, we want to make sure that our numbers are heard. This is only a very small portion of our team who were able to come on extremely short notice. We literally sent the message out yesterday. All right, so this is who we were able to rally with only a day and a half's notice. So just we are committed. I don't know if you know anything about summer swim, but the families go to every meet and you need 100 volunteers. So these are the people in your community who are active. We are willing to give up a couple lanes, but we really don't want to get completely moved out because we don't have anywhere to go. There was some discussion about our merger with Severn Crossing. However, that is a homeowners association. It is a 15-minute drive away. And while they are working with us, and we are going to do our best, and I actually spoke to our board member from Severn today. We're trying to see if we can do meets there. Whatever we can do, we are willing to give, but just please consider what's actually being used and not just what people say they're going to use. I know that during COVID, the children were not allowed in the pool at all. I got told at one point that there was a while where under 12 wasn't allowed at all. Not even the kids who'd been swimming laps since they were 4. My daughter was 6 years old. She had been swimming laps since she was 4, and she could not enter that pool. At the time, I spoke to the mayor, we worked it out, we did what we could, and eventually the policy was changed. So the children, they don't have a voice like the other adults in the community. So we are their voice, and they are here, right? So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so as you're going forward, and I have a couple questions for you. We were told that you guys don't operate after a certain time in the evening. My question is, what about the times you do? You guys have family swim from 8 to 10 on certain nights. We have had splash parties at the pool. We have had our swimathon. So I'm a little confused as to why we were told that the pool couldn't operate after 8 o'clock, because the pool does operate after 8 o'clock. So that's just something to ponder. And I found that kind of an interesting issue, because I've paid for lanes that we have used after that 8 o'clock cutoff. So if it's safe enough for the swim team to be there, it should still be safe enough for the swim team to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're saying that it's okay for your swim-a-thon to swim laps, then we should be able to hold practice. It's the same kids. If you're telling me it's okay for your splash party, then we should be able to hold practice. It's the same kids. Another service the swim team provides is look at your lifeguard staff. Guys, who's a lifeguard at GAFC or has been? Stand up if you're a current or former lifeguard at GAFC.
Thank you.
Okay? And there are more. All right? Our coaching staff is almost all of them are lifeguards. They are trained at GAFC. I actually have been pulled over in the co-op and asked, I need a lifeguard. Who you got? Can you encourage your kids? So I think I probably talked enough, but I do want you to know that we are willing to work, and we're a large chunk of the community. Most of you are Greenbelt residents too. I know not all of you are, but the majority of them are. So we want to, Greenbelt residents, can you stand up just to give a pump? I want you to see, this is not, sometimes seeing the numbers, Oliver, you're a Greenbelt resident too. But anyway, like I said, I represent I'm not the only person on the board. I'm here as a board member and as a mother and of swimmers. But we do appreciate working with you, but just please keep the kids in mind.
One point of clarification, Severn can't hold us.
No, they can't.
They cannot support us as a
Can I stop you one second? The reason why we need to use, the reason why we have to use the microphone is because it's being recorded and it's going right to the TV, so we can play this back. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Hi, I'll keep it kind of short. I just want to address a couple things. I'm Alexandra. I am one of the coaches here. I've been a coach on this team since 2019, and I've been swimming on this team since I was 10. I don't, like 2014. So I just want to talk really briefly about some of the things besides just the actual swim team. For starters, as somebody who's grown up here, this has given community. You start in the swim team, but then you're in the community. You see people, you go around, you have built this community. One of the biggest things I love about Greenbelt, and my college friends have told me too, when they have come and visited, it's the community that's built. One of the biggest ways this is built is through the swim team. The kids come, they swim, they talk to people, then they're in there volunteering at camps. I interned at CKC because I had talked to people who were on the swim team who told me to do it. I have talked to people, you go afterwards, you support the local businesses. Really, all of these things, you build this community, you build this trust, you get these kids around and doing things. It's not just the swim team that's going to be affected, it's the overall summer community and the people going forward. I mean, who here is an alum from the swim team? Who here is an adult alum? Can you? Yeah.
There are more.
There are so many. I'll see the magnets while driving around. I have people who have come up to me when they've seen the magnet on the back of the car who said, hey, I was an adult alum. This got me into it. This is why I'm now working as a swim team instructor at here. This is why I have gotten into teaching kids. The impact is not just in the water. There's so much there's such a big ripple effect, excuse my pun, if you will, outside into this community.
Thank you, Alexandra. Christine, you asked a good question about the operating the pool beyond the regular hours. I know Greg recently spoke about this, and Greg, I don't know if you want to get into it. We need to illuminate the.
Stephen, can you talk about that a little bit?
So there's really only one group that comes to the pool during the summer after hours, and that's the swim team. They do their swim-a-thon, and they also do their end of the year party. Depending on weather, sometimes it gets moved inside. we used to stay open till 9 o'clock, and had. Let me take a step back. I've been there for 18 years, coming up on 18 years, and the one thing that I fear the most is after hours. Even when you guys are out there, there's not enough lighting to illuminate the middle of the pool. And if we have swim team out there, I see morning practice where you have the number of swimmers in the pool compared to where you have your swimathon, and you have many more swimmers out there than that time in the evening. If we can get the lights and illuminate it, I'm comfortable having evening activities. Even with the ones that we have, I'm not comfortable, but I make sure I have a strong staff there for the number of people that are there. And that being said, it's summertime, and I hate to say it, I have a lot of staff that will just, as you can see, me in the chair in the morning when I'm working with you guys, that don't show. So I don't want to get it to a point where I have staff that don't show, it becomes unsafe, and we have to figure it out. Let me finish, Christine. So yes, the swim team has lifeguards, but you can't double dip. You have to do, and in regards to responsibility, you either have to be a guard or you have to be a swimmer or you have to be a coach. You can't be both. I really appreciate that when I'm there, I will ask one of the coaches to step aside and help me out, and I take them away from the responsibility of coaching, but I can't be there 24/7. And we're working on the lights. The lights are issue with the structure of the pool and the way it is set up in regards to safety factors of putting temporary lights in, protruding from the wall, sticking up from the bottom of the pool. Adding lights would require me to get inspected by the health department, so it would come down to if they say yay or nay. But we're still looking into finding a solution in regards to lights. So.
Based on the work session, some of the things that you just said are a little bit different, so I just wanted to clarify. We were told during the work session by Greg, I believe, that the call on whether or not to stay later was up to the health department, but are you now saying it's because of your comfort level?
No, the call on me and adding lights is.
I'm not talking about adding lights.
Right.
I'm talking about, we were informed that the county or the health department, Maryland State, I suppose.
No, it's
would be
Prince George's
determining-
County. The Prince
Oh,
George's
okay.
County will determine how late I can stay open
Okay.
in regards to the lighting situation that I have.
Okay.
Like I said, we only have one group that comes out. If we're going to do something totally different other than swimathon or having an occasional party out there, I would have to ask them to come out to make sure that the lighting is adequate for me for the number of people that we're going to have in the pool for that activity.
Understood. I have one other question, and that is and I'm sorry if I didn't follow you quite exactly. Regarding the lifeguards, because you will no longer have the indoor pool to staff during this time, wouldn't that actually give you quite a surplus of lifeguards to use for the outdoor pool's extended hours?
So my lifeguards average an age of 16 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that primarily work in the evening are 16 and 17 because the 20-year-olds want to be 20-year-olds. So I'm now relying on my younger guards with hopefully a strong manager to cover, or hope I have a strong manager, or hope I have a number of lifeguards that are strong enough to cover activities in the evening.
All right, and we haven't hired yet, so we could.
We're still working on, so the hiring process is year round. It's always ongoing.
Okay.
We just ran a class and we only had one person outside. But we're working on, we always have it out there so that we'll run a class if we have enough people, even if it's not listed in the guide.
Oh, that's good to know.
So.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Stephen, building on the question of special events and special activities. So the health department determines our hours of operations, regular operations. How often can we?
So I put down the hours of operation, and they will go back and look at, well, when's dusk, when does it get dark, to determine if my hours are So we've always had 8 o'clock on there. And I said occasionally we have activities after during the summer, and I give them the number, and they're okay. So if we extend our hours, they'll look at that, and then they'll ask me what activities I actually have going on, based upon the fact that I do not have underwater lights.
On those special activities, what flexibility do we have? Is it a weekly special event, or is it twice a week? What kind of flexibility do we have in terms of scheduling events after our normal hours?
So during the summer, we don't solicit outside activities. We only allow Greenbelt groups. And in the past, since I've been there, it's only been swim team, and baseball used to do theirs, but baseball is no longer, they don't come to us anymore. So I don't rent to outside groups during the summer. I only deal with our inside groups, and the only one that have approached me in regards to being able to use it is the swim team.
Christine may be asking this, but how often can the swim team have special events after hours? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I don't know if it's special events. I think you're talking about practicing after hours, right? Yeah.
For example, our current practice, can I get on the microphone?
Y-
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. And other people can talk too, but I'm happy to talk. Our current summer practice schedule begins at 6:30, and it ends at 8:45. So that is when we are in the pool. So AM, all in the AM, yes.
Yeah, right.
So an option, someone said that they would like to give some of those morning hours to other groups. So one of the options that were discussed is perhaps splitting our practices and maybe having our teenagers, the ones that swim from 6:30 to 7:45 or whatever, to come in the evening. You know, and then that way we could have early morning swims available for patrons. We would come in for a couple of hours. We're willing to give up a couple lanes, like 1 or 2. We want to work with you guys. We're not trying to say the swim team is the only people who has a stake in this. And then maybe we could come back in the evening. I completely understand what Stephen is saying. We are willing to help foot the costs for the lights if we can. Like if we knew, I have no idea. I am very ignorant on this. But we're willing to. I've told him if there's stuff we can pay for, let us know. If we want to help, but we're just trying to figure out how to break it up. In the summer prior to when school lets out, we have 2 lanes for like 30 minutes and then 6 lanes for like we do during the school year. We cannot fit all our kids in the pool at the same time. It's pretty much dangerous. So we need this kind of a little bit more broken up. We need that 2.5 hours or 2 hours-ish to make it happen. We can't use, and that's 2 hours of 6 lanes. So we're just trying to figure out ways of accommodating everybody because we know we're not the only people here. I'm just saying the mornings, if you go in, when I would look, it was probably close to 8. There was really not anybody in the pool swimming laps, maybe 1 or 2 people, which is why we were thinking we could do something like that. But like I mentioned on a meeting before, you should be able to check those numbers, I'm assuming. I don't know. But yeah, so if we could have practice in the evening, maybe from 8 to 9 or 8 to 9:30, or even 8 to 9:15. I think our practices in the morning about 1:15. Yeah, I mean, we're willing to, each age group, I think, swims about 1:15. We're willing to work with the city if that's something. So, if they came back and said, you guys can swim until 9, we could come in at maybe 7:45, which is when you normally ask the patrons to leave anyway, I believe, and come in. I understand Stephen's issue with the lifeguard. We would not have if we had a swim team member fill in, a certified guard who has all been approved. By the way, every single one of our swim team coaches in the summer are background checked, and they are employees of the city because of the way the grant is paid. So having them come in and fill in as a lifeguard, even if you didn't pay them, they're already kind of covered in that, and we would not double dip because he is right. It is not safe to try to watch young children in the pool as a coach and also watch as a guard. But there are things we could do, including maybe scheduling one of our swimmers as a backup person, right? Like making sure we always have one of our certified guards there. And that person, that swimmer knows that if one of Steven's employees doesn't show up, that they're the ones in the chair. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that we are willing to do. We just need to know how best to help you. I don't know if I answered whatever question I was asked at first, because I'm sure I talked a little long. But thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, Christine.
Going back to your checking the numbers in the morning, as you know, if you come into the pool, you swipe in or you pay. Once you get past the desk, I don't know who went left and I don't know who went right. So I can check the numbers, which we did, of how many people came into the facility, but I can't give you an accurate as to what they did. And we do run programs in the morning, and in conjunction with swim team being outside, and then we flip-flop it when they move, when they're not there, or when they're done. So we do have activities in the morning that we're trying to schedule, that we've scheduled in the past. But like I said, we're working on a schedule to make everybody happy. They just won't be as happy as everybody wants to be.
Yeah, and for reference, we did check those numbers, and we averaged between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. We averaged, during your summer usage, we averaged about 32 pass holder visits in that time frame. And again, as Steven said, 30 of them could be going to the fitness wing, but we averaged about 32 per day.
Our Vice President, David Downs.
I would say I was probably a couple of those, because I was in your fitness room and probably about 10 or 12 other people with me. So, but yeah, as soon as Stephen did tell us about, the situation, we did check, and I would check a couple times a week. So, I mean, granted, I would do it once at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, depending on when I would drop my son off for a swim team. And, I would only catch, one, maybe two people in the lap lanes. A few people in the hot tub. So, we're just throwing it out there that this is what we observed. And I did that for about 5 weeks. So, just checking. So.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Yeah. Caitlin McGrath, Greenbelt resident. I just want to give the perspective of, because I wear two hats in regards to swimming. I like to swim laps, and then I'm also a parent of two swimmers. I have one here who really needs to go home and study for her physics exam. So she's made her presence known. She's also a lifeguard and a coach. But if she needs to go, that's why she dips out, not because she doesn't want to be here. And our son is on a Zoom call for scout camp. Anyway, but he is also a swimmer. We started swimming, or we joined the team when they were 6 and 8. So they were in the 8 and under. So they've been the littlest ones all the way up to now, coaching the littlest ones. And I just wanted to reiterate that was brought up before. They've played a lot of other sports, and this is the one that is really so focused on community. It's wonderful that the little kids make their way up to being the big kids, and then they're helping the little kids. So and there are parents who grew up on the swim team that have come back, and their kids are now doing the same thing. So it really is a remarkable feature of this sport, and it's something that I think is in danger if we lose the pool for the summer, that some of those families will, because swimming matters so much to them, I don't know, but if they go to another team, we might not get them back. And numbers are really important on a swim team. And if the numbers dwindle, then I'm also, with my husband, the data manager for the team. So we see all this. We could drop down a division. And then that's hard on the kids. They really are proud of how much work they put in, and the championships that they've won, and the trophies that are in the case and all that. That really matters to them. So I wouldn't want to jeopardize that either. As a lap swimmer, I wondered if maybe this would be an opportunity to bring back the COVID lane reserving system, which worked really well. I loved it. I mean, anybody who hasn't been swimming outdoors, it's really nice, even when it's chilly. And it just worked really well as a way to kind of gauge, okay, is it busy? Is there a spot? Can I get it? And even then, it was pretty restricted because it was COVID. So it was just like one person per lane. But you could do more than that, because obviously it's not the same issues now. So that might be a way to accommodate folks. And I think that, for adults that are swimming, I have no problem going somewhere else to swim for those months, if it means that, it opens it up for these kids. And I think a lot of adults would feel that way, especially because you're being so generous with pausing the passes. Like there's no reason not to, I think. And plus it's easier for those adults if they wanted to go find a different pool. It's much harder for parents who are trying to get their kids, as we did for many years, to like coordinate the breakfast and the lunch and the swim to the camp and all that. It's convenient because it's literally just like, you know, right across the way, but it's much, much harder if we're trying to even come from the Severn pool in the morning. So I appreciate you giving us the time to talk about it. And yeah, we want to do whatever we can to make it work, because it really does mean something to these kids.
Thank you, Caitlin. Oh,
Well, I just to answer one thing Caitlin said was, we don't want to lose the pool. You're not going to lose the pool. We're going to work something out so you have access to the pool. We're not sure what that is yet. We're not sure how many days a week, but we're going to figure that out. So the swim team, I know how important the swim team is to the community. So we're going to get you in there. We're just not sure what that looks like at the moment. Yeah.
thank you, Greg, for that clarification. I reiterate what Greg said is we believe in the value that the swimming team brings to our community. We're gonna allocate some time to the swim team. We're balancing what classes we're able to have in the morning versus the dedicated swim time for the team. It's balancing all those things out. And obviously we're having conversations about it. The final decision hasn't been made, and it'll be a while.
And Josue said final decision. You know, even after we make a decision, if we see something that needs to be changed, we're going to be resilient so we can make that change as well. So, you know, it'll be a work in progress.
Hey, Jill, before you go, can I just say something? Thanks, Jill. For anyone who's watching on television and maybe doesn't understand the stakes here, our recreation department, as you know, is going to be practically shut down for children this summer. We're closing a whole bunch of fields. We're closing the pool. You're seeing so many people here right now and so many people speaking because this is practically the last thing that we're going to be able to run in Greenbelt. So there are a lot of feelings and emotions here. I just wanted everyone to understand that this might seem like a lot for getting lanes in a pool for a practice, but this is actually the last remaining activity that Greenbelt will be able to host this summer for kids. And kids have been short-shafted for a while here.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jill Lau. I joined this Greenbelt resident, joined the swim team when we were, 5, 6, which was 1992, I think. And so I've coached the team starting at age 16. I became the head coach, and we won the championships, went all the way up to A division, the best. And I just want to share that time as head coach, where like the board trusted me as a teenager to run over. We had like 120 kids on the team, plus a lot of parents. It did help that my dad was a meet manager, but that experience gave me a lot of confidence to go play Division I water polo at University of Maryland, where that's how I met Steve. And now I'm a U.S. Naval officer, and that helped really give me a lot of leadership experience. Like I always tie that back to managing. I was like, I can handle whatever's going on. I've dealt with 100 kids screaming on the pool, running around, trying to drown each other. I also coach water polo, and I'm on the national team staff. So like this was where it started, right? And really emphasize, like, you guys, that was my question is, are you guys invested in helping us get pool time? Because my kid's on the team now. He got screwed during COVID when the pool was closed. He like lost out swimming like love, and we're rebuilding that, right, Chet? And so like I really don't want to lose this time because I work down in Fort Belvoir. I don't know if you guys know where that is, but I drive an hour and a half one way a day. I don't have the time to be here at home with my kid, and I'm going to deploy. Like the swim team is just something we need to have. And I'm sorry, the community, this is part of our community. We have to sacrifice a little bit, all of us. All right, we will sacrifice as a team. My mom is a daily swimmer. Steve knows her very well, right? She understands she's going to switch her swim time around. She's like, totally fine. And I was like, she can drive to Fairland too. Like there's options out there. I think like as long as we get your word that you are invested in helping us, because you have no idea the long-term effects that this team, as minutia might seem now, really makes a difference later in life for all of us. You have so many Division I athletes that have come out of this team. Like, it's crazy. Like, state record holders, college record holders, NCAA record holders, people who have made the U.S. national swim team trials. Like, just because we don't publicize, it's not out there. So this team's important. So please invest in the kids in the future. Just like Amy just said, like, they've been shafted for a long time. We are a community. Let's actually invest in the future. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tom Lamond, and I'm not a swimmer, and I don't have any connections to the swim team. So if you're in the audience and you don't have any connections to the swim team, please stand up. All right, great. There's two of us here. And the reason I came tonight is because I had a couple of general questions about the project, and I'm really excited. I didn't know this swim team community existed, and I'm really, I think there's a good synergy going on here. I think that it seems like you're working to try to give them the access they need. You're expressing your needs, and I think it's going to work out because we're in Greenbelt too, and that's really important. But my questions are, and you can be as brief as possible about it. I just wanted to know, in terms of evaluating the project, was everything looked at? I mean, I know you're working on the lower deck of the pool, but I also would think that you would look at the entire pool and go, well, we're going to be down there, so are we going to fix everything that needs to be fixed when the floor is up? That's the first part of the question. And the second part of the question is, how long is this going to last? Is this something that's going to be a 10-year solution? Is it something that's going to be a 30-year solution? And really, that's kind of why I came today, just to ask those questions. So nothing related to swim team, but more related to the project. So I'll look forward to hearing the response. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Well, two questions. We on the budget side of things, we do have some contingencies for unforeseen conditions of the pool that we need to address. Brian, do you want to jump in?
Sure. So everything that we could look at, we did look at. Unfortunately, a lot of the work is in between. So we don't know the full extent of it until we lift up that top layer of tile. Having said that, just like anything, everything has a useful life or end of useful life. So we project anywhere between 15 to 20 years.
And Mr. Lamont, I think you talked about other projects, other issues in the pool. Are we going to be tackling them as well? We are not, simply because we don't have the funding. There's other things we'd like to fix. We don't think any of those other things would shut the pool down again. But this is the fixing the pool deck is most important, and we have the funding for that, and that's as much as we can do at the moment.
So the project in regards to fixing the pool, if you guys have walked into the facility or been on the deck, there are cones at the far end of the pool. They're put there for a specific reason. So I have to mark where there are hazards on the pool deck. So when the health department comes in and inspects, I can say, that's a hazard, we have it marked. Yes, we have a plan in place to get it fixed. So if we don't get that fixed, and I'm running out of time in regards to, yes, we have a plan to get it fixed. So this project came about, Mr. Kim did his due diligence, he got a contractor to look at what needed to be done. But like you said, once they start, we don't know what they're going to uncover, and that's the big problem. So, but yes, we're working to get it fixed is the big key and the big phrase that I always have to use, and now I'm getting it fixed.
Hi, thank you. I'm Jennifer Mullinex. I'm a resident of here, Old Greenbelt. I am a swim team person. My kids went through all of their swim classes here, then started in developmentals, and now are 10 and 12. I'm also a professor at the University of Maryland, and this is really my first civic involvement because I'm usually too busy. But one of the things I do teach is conflict resolution. And you said something that made me, it piqued an idea that I want to give as a suggestion. Without getting into the minutia of swim team, just generally I will say that we're already light. Like when you look at what Greenbelt does in terms of the time that our kids are in the pool, it's less than what you would see at many other swim teams. And unless you're a swim coach or a parent that's there every morning, you might not understand some of the details that create cohesion in a team. So when you start talking about having to skip days, that can cause a lot of problems. Creating a swim team that brings a good product to competition. So I would suggest, because I really respect what you're trying to do, and I know it's hard to make everybody happy, and compromise never really is a good thing. I think trying to find a place of wisdom where people are getting what they need is more important. Coming up with a couple of options instead of a final decision, and then talking through what those options, how they would work for the swim team and maybe for the classes, might be a better solution, as opposed to putting something out and you have no idea that it's going to essentially destroy the camaraderie of the team because of the way it's been designed. And so there's some really good professionals on the team. And Laura, you have multiple that you can choose from. That could just say, here's 2 or 3 options that we have. Are any of these really bad? Are any of these really good? I think we might find something and everybody comes to a better solution with that approach, given that unless there's a swim team person there helping you make the final decision. Just my 1.5 cents.
Thank you, Jennifer. And we do plan to do that. We had a first conversation where we explore options. We talked through the idea of servant pool or us negotiating or creating arrangements with other local pools. Franklin Park, we've spoken with the folks at Franklin Park in that pool, and we're following up with them around the specs of that pool and see if it fits. We are talking through some options. So it hasn't been Greg is not making the final decision, and we're all sticking with it. Sorry, Greg. So we're talking through the options, and we're considering everything that we could do. Again, I'll go back to a message I said earlier, is that we have to find the balance between the number of classes, the adult swim time in the morning, and the swim team having that 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Times. That's where we see the conflict. How do we find that balance between those 3 different? But I'm interested in here, and I think we'll follow up with Laura and Christine about options in terms of number of days, number of hours. It piqued my interest, this evening hours activity. Maybe that's something that we can figure out a way to work. Greg and the team are looking at lights for the pool. So.
To our members.
Yeah, and if we're able to use a local HOA pool, we're still, and we need to get our liability situation cleared first. But if that's an option, we're still not sure that's going to work for you, and we would invite you to come look at it to see if that would work for you or not. So whatever decision we make, you're going to be involved in that. Yeah. We're considering everything, yes. Yeah. Any other questions?
Record time. Does everyone get an award? Do we have some extra trophies in the closet?
Tell the mayor that we finished before 8.
You just did. It's being recorded. Thank you very much.
So, like I said, there is a project page. There is an email on the project page. So if you didn't think of a question tonight, feel free to shoot an email and ask. We'll get that back to you as soon as we can. We're going to circle back probably tomorrow. Staff will tomorrow and early next week and try to put this puzzle together. And we'll reach out to the swim team leadership and the other stakeholders probably next week and try to schedule another meeting.
Thank you for giving us time on a Thursday. I know this is not
We appreciate you all coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if we can get your email, we can put you on a email list as well. So if there's new information, we can get that to you as soon as possible. You don't have to keep checking the project page.
And for the rest of the team, we just met with them last week.
So we'll be updating the frequently asked questions sheet with information as questions come up and we have additional information. The two main points of contact for this project is Brian Kim on the construction side. So he's dealing with all the contractors, permitting people. Brian's got that. And Greg will be the point of contact for all programming.
You just email that, use that one email, and I'll make sure that your question gets to the right person.
I'd like to say one other thing. At which this is coming together so that that timeline can occur is quite important. Are aware that you guys are trying to, I mean,
Welcome.
And I want to thank the paper for getting the message out too. They've been publishing stories for almost a year now, maybe longer because we've been talking about it for so long. So thank you. I appreciate the recognition and also appreciate the patience because I'm sure that it induced anxiety hearing that the pool was closing. And yeah, and at one point I heard that we were closing for a year. And that frightened me because we never talked about closing that long.
we have a closing date in April that
It's April 5th. Is that 7th? I'm sorry, April 7th.
So technically,
That's
at
a-
this
that's a-
point, April 6th will be our last day.
So the swim team we are operating right now. We understand the closing, that is totally fine. We're gonna probably need to refund people's money. I just wanted to make sure that we knew, did Steve last date? Double check it.
When I did the schedule with Madam President, I told her the date of the last day of practice because I said that it wouldn't give us. That's what only way I could. So that 6 is your. Well, that 6 is your.
Well, April 6th, right, because it'll close that Monday. Yeah.
Maybe on April 6th. We usually do it on practice.
Donuts and coffee are greatly appreciated.
The donuts, the coffee, yeah, okay.
Even though I'm not there.